evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lone Star State as the Midwest Elite Racing Stamm Studio Network Truck Series rolls onto one of the fastest and most challenging intermediate tracks on the schedule. Tonight it's time for the Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing at Texas Motor Speedway, 100 laps under the lights. Name's Sean Stamm. Welcome in here to Stamm Studio Network. I'm producing, directing, commentate the show. Before we cut to virtual trackside action, we're going to take a look at some point standings. Charlie Widener, TJ Zachary, Jensen Case, 1, 2, 3, and the point standings ever so tight. I believe that point battle just separated by 6 points up there, separating first and second, and a little bit more for second and third. Josh Murphy, what a start of the season it's been. He continues to run fourth in the point standings. Same with Bobby Blair. Nice start as well as gained a spot in the points after Martinsville last race weekend. Stoney Benfield, P6 in points. Michael Milfelt Jr., Neil Lapidus, after penalizing himself from Martinsville again last race weekend. So will not be racing with us for the next 2 races, I don't think. But Neil, also, congratulations out there to you. Believe he is also expecting a new child or a new baby out there. Hopefully everything's going out there if you're joining us. Neil, Daniel Higgins, and Ricardo Keno, Zach Monday, Tim Blankenbeckler, Nathaniel Mendoza, Tyler Price, and Terry Mellum rounding out the top 15 in the points. Now as we cut to some virtual trackside action, just like to thank you all joining in YouTube land out there tonight, as well as our sponsors and affiliates on the top right of the screen. We have a 1.5 mile intermediate. I wouldn't even call it cookie cutter, as different as turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are. This track's going to provide quite a good racing tonight. Taking a look at our points, our starting grid, brought to you by Ranger Creative Concepts. Make sure you hit up Frank Ranger Jr. out there on Facebook if you're looking for, you name it, t-shirts, T-shirt sublimination designs, trophies, plaques for your league. Frank Ranger Jr. can help you out there. It's Bobby Blair still looking for a sponsor. He slaps it out on the pole with a 29.982. Stoney Benfield joins him on the front row at a Benfield Motorsports. Charlie Widener, who comes into the race with the point standings. He'll start P3 out of Highline Racing. Ricardo Keno out of Argentina. Hola, Ricardo. Hopefully you're all doing well. You start P4. Tim Blankenbeckler out of Langley Lapidus Racing. He'll start P5. Craig Schmidt, P6. Kyle Ricketts, Michael Ritz, Daniel Higgins, Josh Murphy, TJ Zachary, and Jensen Case rounding out 6th through 12th. Frank Ranger Jr., James Klaus, Sean Abel, Tyler Price, Terry Mellum out of the Midwest Mafia, Mike Milfelt, and Zach Monday round out our 19 driver grid tonight. All right, let me know your picks and who you're rooting on down there in YouTube land. Bobby Blair, Stoney Benfield, row 1, or will it be Charlie Widener, Ricardo Keno, row 2, Tim Blankenbeckler, or Craig Schmidt, row 3. Got some heavy hitters up there. We also have some faster drivers out there starting from 7th on back. I mentioned Michael Ritz there earlier on. Keep your eye on him tonight in that 27 Chevrolet Silverado. Josh Murphy, who we have also seen have a nice start to the season in this Stamm Studio Network Truck Series. We continue to make our way through it. Josh Murphy continuing to do just that and more. Nice start to the point standings as well as he comes into the race 4th within our points. All right, only one quick pace lap to go, and it is a nice night here for racing in the virtual Lone Star State, Texas Motor Speedway. Temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're across the pond, 26 degrees Celsius. Winds to our back, 11 miles per hour. Thank you all for joining in tonight on Stamm Studio Network. Let's get this event kicked off. It's the Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing live on Stamm Studio Network. We're going to go one more. Nope, we're not going to go one more pace lap. Start should be on Bobby Blair, or we go one more pace lap. All right, well, that's embarrassing. Bobby Blair, Stoney Benfield, Charlie Widener, Ricardo Keno, 1, 2, 3, 4, Craig Schmidt, and then there's the pace truck is back out on the racetrack. So I wasn't notified of any what do you call it? pace lap where we're doing it for somebody else, but we could be doing it for somebody. No, I'm just kidding. I think just going to run one more here under green. I think maybe just letting everybody catch up as well. So if you are just now joining us, you are in for a treat tonight. We're going to get this field re-racked, restacked, and just about ready to go. Let me make sure. No, I'm not missing anything on Discord as well. All right, so the lights are still out. Maybe the Barney, the safety pace truck driver, just wanted to lead one more lap before we get going to green flag racing. We talked about the weather. We'll talk about our race analysis for you. It's 150 laps. We have that stage break at that lap 40, leaving us 60 laps in the final laps of the second stage. That will be that Frets for Pets stage break at lap 40, and then we'll get them all restacked, re-racked, and ready to go. We should still have at least one pit stop tonight. Here we go. Now that iRacing safety pace truck's going to make its way down and off of the track. Bobby Blair, Stony Binfield, the field is in your hand as Barney waves the green flag. Now we're racing in the Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing. Drivers making their way out of turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Whoa, we already got one. No, we got one dropping a little bit. Terry Price and Terry Mella were beaten and banging. They're going to settle things out there, running for 17th and 16th. Back out here to the race lead out of turn number 4. It's Bobby Blair leading Charlie Widener, two of our fastest drivers of the practice sessions earlier on in the race. 1, 2, Stony Binfield still runs P3. Got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, reconfigure Texas Motor Speedway. Turns 1. You have to get out of the gas. You roll that throttle pedal out and then back on it there on that back straightaway. And then turns 3 and 4, you can pin that throttle pedal down, down, down. But keep an eye on these right side tires, especially for a driver who, like Charlie Widener, who drifts way up the track out of turns 3 and 4. Yeah, he might have gotten into the entrance of the corner, maybe just a little bit too deep. Hopped on board with them, now back outboard with Charlie Widener. He'll try to settle that thing back going into turn 1. One of my favorite tracks out here, Texas Motor Speedway. Not quite a home track anymore with COTA now on the circuit, but it's fun watching these Stamm Studio Network trucks going at it here. Look at Stony Binfield trying to size something up there at the entrance of 3 going into 4. Just like last lap by, we saw Charlie Widener drift his way up the racetrack, tight conditions in that number 95 Toyota Tundra. Charlie, he's going to continue to work that outside line, maybe a longer run setup in that machine, as now Stony Binfield has a run down the inside. Stoney's there, but not going to be able to quite clear to make the pass out of the exit of the corner. We'll see if he makes it stick this time going to the 3 and 4. Here comes Stony Binfield, shown driver of the number 75 on screen, but timing his ranks as the 97. Still working that out, but Stony Binfield is working out P2, working his way towards the race lead right now of Bobby Blair. Bobby Blair in the cleanest air of the race, as now we'll cut to Tim Blankenbeckler, Ricardo Keno, Craig Schmidt. They're also duking and jiving it out there for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. There you see the number 95, Charlie Widener, slot back into line. He's still opting for that higher race line into the entrance of turn 3. Ricardo Cano's got Craig Schmidt right up there behind him, and right now these drivers are just looking to get into the race at this point. Obviously open setups. These Stamm Studio Network trucks dealing with only 4 tire sets available, so really you have the availability to probably take a tire set each and every stop. 55% fuel is where our strategy is going to strive from out here, as well as that Frets for Pets competition caution at about 35 more laps to go. Josh Murphy, Sean Abel, Michael Rich. Oh, we got one going around. It's TJ Zachary, the Animal Racing Chevrolet Silverado. So is Frank Ranger Jr., the man who sponsored the race tonight. Both drivers in it there, out of Animal Racing as well as Ranger Creative Concepts. Yeah, you hate that for them. Pretty detrimental damage for both drivers, but they should have that one faster pair as long as they just don't lose a lap trying to get back down into pit lane. TJ Zachary and Frank Ranger Jr. look to be back and under power, so should not lose any laps there. Let's take a look at this Stamm Studio Network race replay and kind of see what happens between the two. So it's already happening up there in front of him. It looks like Daniel Higgins into the back of that number 33. And then who was that? Was that Tyler Price? It was in that Caterpillar 69, white and yellow and black machine. There you see Frank Ranger Jr. makes his way through it. We're going to have to back this one up here just a little bit and see the contact out there out of Daniel Higgins, as well as, oh goodness, this should be the best look at it here. So it's coming out of turn 4, slowing it down. It's TJ Zachary into the wall. Daniel Higgins nowhere to go. I think I even saw a slight lift out of Daniel. He's going to turn into Ross. No, not even Chastain's the wall. He pancakes the wall. That's pretty hard damage for Daniel Higgins as well. I'm not showing any of these drivers here just yet on pit lane. I'm sure it's still, they're waiting for it to open back up. Let's hop on board here and see what Daniel Higgins saw. Remember, TJ tight out of the exit of turn 4. Should pancake it up here in front of him, and Daniel should have nowhere to go. Whoa! Yeah, things happen that quick here at TMS, and goodness gracious, Daniel. It could have been worse, but I still think he is going to have to use his fast repair there on that number 1 Chevrolet Silverado. We'll take one more look at this, and then we'll cut down into pit lane. A bank, and a bonk. Cutting down onto the pits. Daniel Higgins is in and out of the pits, so it's just going to be a quick stop there for him. Terry Mellum also in, so is Frank Ranger Jr., TJ Zachary, Tyler Price. Quick splash, quick dash, and quick fast repair for those 5 drivers. Talking about practice earlier on in the race and the drivers that were fast within it, Mike Milfelt, he was, I believe, the fastest driver in our practice session, that Federated Auto Parts Association, or is it just Federated Auto Parts? Milfelt, very fast, but right now admired back within 13th position. No qualifying lap time set on the 155, so it's going to be fun to see Mike work his way up and through the pack. Looking on our point standings coming into the race, Mike Milfelt sits P7. If you are just now joining us, it's Charlie Widener up front, TJ Zachary, Jensen Case in the points, Josh Murphy, Bobby Blair, Stoney Benfield, Michael Milfelt, Neil Lapidus, Daniel Higgins, and Ricardo Cano. All right, checking in on YouTube land real quick. We got, who we got up there? Terry, Ted, Laura, welcome in. Hopefully you're all doing well. Laura, I still remember the comments that I was told out there. That really makes me smile from ear to ear, and really allows me to keep the broadcast moving back here, as well as those sponsors and affiliates up in the top right of the screen, allowing me to go back with this Midwest Elite Racing Stamm Studio Network Truck Series and bring it action tonight of that Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing. Unfortunately, there for Ranger Creative Concepts and Animal Racing, both drivers shown on the screen here, involved in a tiny little bit of something out there at turn number 4, but after just some quick fast repairs, we are re-racked, restacked, and ready to go there. Gonna want some fast repairs out here tonight. Texas Motor Speedway, it'll bite you if you're not careful. Turns 1 and 2 especially, you have to be so careful on corner entrance. If you're not, you're gonna wash way up the track into that safer barrier. There we go. Goodness, I didn't think that was a tongue twister. So keep an eye on that. Low tire temps, low tire pressures on this restart heading up into turn 1. These drivers getting ready to lock and load, ready to shoot out of a cannon on turn number 4. Keep an eye on that grip level here. It's Stoney Benfield, Charlie Widener, Ricardo Cano, Tim Blankenbeckler up at the top 4. We're back to green flag racing and the Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing. Stoney Benfield, Charlie Widener, there's Tim Blankenbeckler. Nice start for the top 3. Stoney's going to lead him going into turn 1. Takes away all the air out of Charlie Widener's front bumper there. Craig Schmidt, Ricardo Cano, there's Josh Murphy going at it for 4th on back as well. Still no move for the race lead. Best move out here best battles out there between the next drivers. It's going to be Josh Murphy and Ricardo Keno. Josh Murphy in the double 8 works his way and up to P5. 5 spots gains at the drop of the green flag for that cat. And as I mentioned in the drop, before the drop of the green flag, Michael Ritz, he's up 2 spots as well, up to 6th after starting P8. Also, we're working it down and around Ricardo Keno's outside line. Sean Abel looks to join this battle as well. Craig Schmidt going to dive it down to the inside. This is backing up there to P4. Not able to make that one stick. We'll jump back up to the race lead after that move didn't quite stick. Stony Benfield, Charlie Widener, we will look side by side going into turn 1. Stoney's got the inside. Charlie runs up top on the outside. Caution flag on the speedway. We got one going around. I think it's the 75 of Jensen Case. He is stopped down and around right in front of the entrance of turn 1. Trying to get a bit better angle of it. There it is. Jensen Case, Alp number 75 Chevrolet Silverado. Started P12. Unfortunately for him, though, not able to get it back up and into gear. He's going to have to tow it down into the pit lane. That's going to warrant a loss of a lap 2 or 3. That looks like a pretty big one going into the corner right as we cut away from it. Oh, man, the 23 involved. There's TJ Zachary involved for 2 laps. Oh, no, 33 heavy damage. Probably the end of his night after already using that fast repair. Daniel Higgins hard onto the brakes as well. I have to take another look at this one and try to decipher this puppy a little bit. So this is after we had taken the green flag. Terry Mellum goes off the track here, goes after contact with TJ Zachary. There's Terry in the number 23. Bobby Blair right up and in front of him. Remember how fast Bobby Blair was in his 66 Fanatec Toyota Tundra. Right up in front of him. Nice evasive action for Bobby Blair. That'll be a driver who will have to hop on board with. Daniel Higgins looks like he did warrant a little bit more damage, but doesn't look like much. Let's hop on board with Bobby after this. Oh, and then it's still not done, reckon. Yeah, Daniel actually did get some more damage there. All right, Bobby, show us what you got. Do I go right? Do I go left? Do I go back center? I'll send it to the left. Oh, Bobby Blair pins the pit exit cone. Hopefully no black flag there that Bobby has to serve there under green flag conditions. And as we saw after that wreck still continued to ensue, let's take a look at Daniel Higgins here as well. He thought he was going to miss that one. No sirree, Bobcat Tail. We're still wrecking out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 different trucks involved. Back out there into pit lane as we're going to take a look at pretty much everyone to single these drivers down there into the pits that were up within our front running positions. Stony Benfield, Bobby Blair, Ricardo Keno. 1, 2, 3 out of the pits. Looks like Tim Blankenbeckler still getting some service. He should exit 4th. There goes Tim Blankenbeckler. God, so many RVs out here tonight, we can't quite see the drivers. Right there behind Tim, it'll be the driver of the number 85, Craig Schmidt. He uses up, I believe that'll be his first. I believe these are all of our first sets of tires taken, unless those drivers were involved in the first yellow flag. Still not done taking some looks at this race replay here, as I think we still have quite a bit to break down here. TJ into Terry, and then that causes 1, 2, 3, 4 trucks involved. Who's that number 5? That's James Klaus. James initially misses it, gets tagged by Mike Milfilt. I think that's going to be the only damage of the 155 there. Don't tell me Frank Ranger. God, no, it is not Frank's night. After sponsoring the race in that Ranger Creative Concepts number 17, Frank Ranger Jr., is he out of the pits? It looks like it, and I don't think he's lost a lap here just yet either. All right, lights are out on that iRacing Safety Pace truck. Should get going back and into green flag racing this time by. You're joining live here on Stamm Studio Network. My name's Sean Stamm, producing, directing, commentating the show. Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing. We are inching our way closer and closer towards that stage break. Appreciate Frets for Pets sponsoring our stage breaks throughout this race season. Then after that, we're going to re-rack them, restack them. Should be side-by-side race restart throughout the end of the race. And as long as if there are no cautions, that's I think your pit stop strategy throughout that Frets for Pet stage break will completely make or break the whole rest of your night. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 tire sets available for these drivers. Quite a few of them, if not all, have already taken at least 1 set. I take that back. The top drivers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Josh Murphy, Michael Ritz, Kyle Ricketts, Sean Abel, and Zach Monday. Top 5 drivers have yet to make their pit stop. They could possibly be looking at trying to save a little bit of race fuel until we do get to that Frets for Pet stage caution in just the graphic will show it in amount of last time. Oh boy, this one has been fun, and we're going to throw the lights back out there on that iRacing safety pace truck. Josh Murphy, Michael Ritz will go through the field here real quick. That's 1 and 2. Kyle Ricketts will restart here of P3 after starting 7th position. Sean Abel, just mentioned him, as well as Zach Monday, 4th and 5th. Remember, top 5 drivers yet to make a pit stop tonight. Tyler Price, he will restart here in the 6th position right now after gaining 10 spots since the drop of the green flag. Tyler last pit on lap 8, so he's right now kind of in the meat of the sandwich as far as these strategy calls go. Charlie Widener, Bobby Blair, Stoney Benfield, Tim Blankenbeckler, who just ran 1, 2, 3, and 4 throughout our opening laps of the race. They will restart here 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, but on the best strategy call as far as new Goodyear rubber goes and new Sunoco race fuel in the tank. Bobby Blair, he's going to restart 9th position. Ricardo Keno, P10. There's Tim Blankenbeckler. He'll start, is it 10th or 11th, depending on his row. Should be P11. Craig Schmidt, Terry Mellum, James Klaus, Frank Ranger Jr., Daniel Higgins, Mike Milfield, and right now the only driver shown in the virtual garage, Jensen Case. TJ Zachary still out there on the racetrack with us. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. Get up, stand up for your life, and promise me that you'll never give up the fight, just as these drivers will do just that. Or they won't. They'll never give up the fight themselves as well. Josh Murphy, Michael Ritz, front row leading these drivers outside of turn number 4. We'll get back to some more green flag racing at Texas Motor Speedway. Nice start to the race out there in the front of the pack, running side by side through the rest. Single file runs 1, 2, and 3. I think that's Zach Monday and about Charlie Widener on back where the side by side does ensue. Here comes Charlie Widener back up and into the front. That number 95 Appalachian Mountaineer Toyota Tundra wraps the inside line. This time with this race restart, that truck is gripping up there just a little bit better than he asked it to previously. Bobby Blair, Zach Monday, as well as Sean Abel joined that battle back in 5th, 6th, and 7th. But remember, those drivers that are running those differing race strategy calls, Josh Murphy, right now the clean air is working for him out up front. Only 22 laps to go. Front 3 drivers now shown on that pit stop strategy still have not made their way down into the pits. Charlie Widener, Bobby Blair going at it for that new, 4th, 4th, and 5th, and on their newer Goodyear Racing tires. Here comes Bobby Blair looking down the inside of Kyle Ricketts. This is a nice move into turn 1, exactly where you want to make a pass happen. He could be looking at a 2-for-1 if he gets that right side of Michael Ritz. It's going to get tied off a corner exit. Michael Ritz kind of not necessarily throws a block, but shows that he is there. If the house is a rock and don't bother knocking, just come on in, and then shuts the door right shut. Now Bobby Blair drifts up the racetrack a little bit out of turn number 4. Kyle Ricketts still on that outside, still trying to make that differing race strategy work going into turn 1. You're going to see the difference of tires right now. Look at Bobby Blair start to peel away from that front end of that 09. Also, this hurts Kyle Ricketts even more, continuing to fall like a rock. He's going to continue to fall within that dirty air as well. Side by side for P2, side by side for P3 and 4. Bobby Blair up the racetrack. Here comes Michael Ritz. Remember, only 20 laps to go until the competition caution, but you want to push, you want to shove. Stage points, what could make or break your whole race season. Here comes new tires up and into the front after Josh Murphy plays some more defense into turn number 1. Charlie Widener way up the racetrack. Keep an eye on those right side tires as this run continues to kind of crystallize out here for him. Hopefully there's no crystallization within his tires. Bobby Blair looks down the inside in this Fanatec Toyota Tundra number 66. Door, quarter, clear from Josh Murphy. 66 to the race lead. Here comes Charlie Widener. Gonna make that work down into turn number 1. Also, gonna maybe try to make that work up for the race lead. Bobby Blair left the door way open. Here comes Charlie Widener. Nothing but a hound dog since the race has started. Now loses a little bit of grip out there of corner exit. That allows Josh Murphy to get right back within this race battle, keeping those older tires somehow working on that number 88 Red Bull Stamm Studio Network truck. Oh man, he might get the Stamm Studio Network Sean and Tater curse as Josh Murphy may have kissed that outside wall. Here comes Michael Ritz back into the inside after trying to let his tires cool down here just briefly. Gonna try to send it back there to the entrance of turn number 1. Don't look now, but Mike Milfelt is coming with a head of steam. Mike Milfelt on the exit of turn number 2. Look at the speed differential. Michael Rich was clear by about 3 truck lengths up in front. No longer so. And then Mike Milfelt, so much speed, so much steam out of the 155. Drifts way up the track out of turn number 4. Here comes Mike looking down the inside of Josh Murphy. Josh has no grip left to try and battle this number 155. Maybe a little bit of side draft on the mid corner there, but especially through turns 1 and 2, it's so tight. You don't have that banking that you can rely on here out of turns 3 and 4 to help you out. Mike Milfelt is actually still at company. Now he's clear from Josh Murphy. Milfelt's up into that final driver interview position. Widener works his way up to P2. And oh, that's right, Bobby Laird to the race lead. On board with Charlie Widener there. You saw he got so deep within turn 1, he actually had to give the spot out there to Mike Milfelt. Got way off the gas, couldn't roll back into it to get that truck powered down that back straightaway. As we continue to lose speed and lose grip within these Stamm Studio Network trucks, as these runs continue to run onwards, keep your eye on these drivers that are about running 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th on back. Watch as we hop on board this rear bumper cam. Look at Tim Blankenbeckler. He's going to wrap that inside line. He's putting all sorts of clean air on the front of that Tim's Tiny Boat Adventures machine. Tim Blankenbeckler now is looking down the inside of Kyle Ricketts. That's exactly what you have to do to find just that much more speed, just that much more grip within these skewed to a P Stamm Studio Network race trucks. I mean, you're working tenths of a second on back, on fourth, on back, on fourth, begging for grip, begging for mercy. We'll go side by side for the race lead. Mike Milfelt makes it look relatively easy there over Bobby Blair. Both these drivers, although on the same strategy call, Mike Milfelt from slicing, dicing his way back and to the front of the pack. No qualifying lap shown on the 155. Started P18 up and into the lead Federated Autosports machine. Look at this battle out here. My goodness, you couldn't have drew it up better than this one. I mean, Stoney Benfield, remember with what pace that we saw it here within his short track run and as the race first started. But since a little bit of strategy calls have happened, Benfield not really been able to work his way back up and through the pack. He's got Kyle Ricketts, Craig Schmidt right up there with him, battling for that 7th, 8th, and 9th position. Ricardo Cano about 1.7 seconds back from this kind of 4-car breakaway from 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Battle still not going away for the race lead here just yet. Milfelt continuing to put down some very nice lap times. Matter of fact, the last lap time of the race was not the fastest of the race, but it was the fastest lap time that time by of all the drivers. Milfelt looks like he's got the long run speed, the long run pace of that 155. And I mean, that thing is just glued to the race lines. That is exactly where you want to see yourself going out of 3 and 4 across the tri-oval here. Let's see if he opens up 1 and 2. Does just that, opens it way up. You see the exhaust flames fly out of the rear end, excuse me, the side of the 155. He's going to drift it up just a little bit out of turn number 2 and try to work that speed, work that momentum on that Texas Motor Speedway Lone Star State back straightaway. Bobby Blair not going out of contention here just yet as we hop on board with him. Only 10 laps to go up here up front. 0.2, we'll call it 0.3 of a second. Separate 1 and 2, 7/10 back to P3 and 4. Listening on that throttle trace there for Bobby Blair, I mean, it is a work of art. You're not only trying to avoid working as much temperature and pressures into those right sides as you can, as well as turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, as I mentioned earlier on in the race. Couldn't be more difference. It shouldn't be more difference between the two if you had tried. So much banking that you can work with out there out of 3 and 4, and then the lack of banking through 1 and 2 really got to slow and mow that thing down, especially as tires continue to wear. Battles continue to heat up and ensue. 5th, 6th, 7th, all separated by 1/10 of a second, and then you have 7th, 8th, and 9th also separated by less than 1/10 of a second. Battles everywhere. 8 laps to go until that Fresh 4 pet stage caution break. Stony Benfield works his way back and up to P5 now, but Craig Schmidt is still lurking. So is Michael Ritz. Kyle Ricketts, same story there. Don't look now, but hey, Ricardo Keno. Ricardo's starting to join this battle after starting up in the 4th position. His Stamm Studio Network number 25 truck out of Argentina continues to rock his way up and into the front of the pack, getting closer and closer into those battles for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. There you see that on the right side of your screen. Ricardo Keno just now entering that camera shot. Tim Blankenbeckler, he's working his way up into the inside line of Charlie Widener. Both drivers on same strategy calls, coming with just 6 to 5 laps to go within this last stage. How about it? Let's hear it for Tim Blankenbeckler, the Tim's Tiny Boat Adventures Toyota Tundra. Charlie Widener goes way up the track. Remember what I mentioned earlier on in the race? You have to be careful if you're Charlie Widener and that 95 pushing, shoving it so deep within these corners' paws. Charlie, now he's struggling there just a little bit for corner entrance and corner exit grip, as you see Tim Blankenbeckler work his longer run strategy, his longer run pace, his longer run speed, and those Stamm Studio Network trucks. Greg Schmidt, Josh Murphy, 6th, 7th, Michael Ritz, Kyle Ricketts, Ricardo Keno right there behind that battle, 8th, 9th, and 10th. 5 laps to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at a crystal ball right now. We're looking into the future, I think, of what will be our final laps to go. Charlie Widener, he almost got loose there. I saw on timing and scoring, so I apologize there. I think Charlie's going to be able to stick it out there out of the exit of turn 2 and continue to make P4 happen. Back within that battle we were just glancing at, Michael Ritz, Kyle Ricketts, here comes Ricardo Keno once again, this time 4 laps ago. Ricardo with almost no clean air up there in front of him. Caution on the racetrack. I think it's a little bit early for our stage break. Is a driver involved? Oh, it's Sean Abel right in front of the cardboard cutouts. So this being so close towards our competition caution, it might warrant itself as that. We have to see what happened to Sean, if he had contact there or just got loose there out of the exit of turn 4. Oh, it's maybe looking like contact. I'm showing Terry Mellum. Oh, there's Terry and his number 23 High Rock vodka paint scheme. This is a very tight section on the racetrack here. That is through the dogleg, and my God, we got one up and over. Is the 23 of Terry Mellum. Looks like he looks like, I think he's going to be okay. Take another look at this one here. So there's Sean. He's up there in front of him. Here we go out of turn number 2. I apologize here. It's just, we're going to fast forward it here. And we got to take a look at it here at kind of race pace. And really, I think that helps us break it down there. As you see Sean kind of, oh! My God, there's this huge liquor coming across the stripe. Still trying to see who, I mean, maybe we need a Stamm Studio Network drone camera shot this time coming out of that dog leg. Okay, so Terry Mellum starts to look up top. The wall's coming up there. Does Sean move up? I think that's 2 trucks just going for the same bit of real estate right there. And then, man, it lifts the 23 and the 40 up there over there. Maybe 2 to 4 tires up and off the racetrack. This might be a crazy camera shot at it. Oh, right in front of Barney. He's going to throw the yellow flag pretty quick there. All right, down and on to pit lane. Drivers, we're coming to you. Bobby Blair is in my pit box. He's taking right side tires and left side tires on that Fanatec Racing number 66 Toyota Tundra. It's going to be tight for the race lead out of the exit of the pits. Mike Milfelt, Bobby Blair, Charlie Widener, Tim Blankenbeckler, Stoney Binfield, Craig Schmidt, Zach Monday, and Ricardo Keno, the top 10. I'm not sure here just quite yet, but this should warrant our Frets for Pets stage break caution. So appreciate Frets for Pets and everything that they have done here for us throughout this race season, as well as sponsoring each and every single one of our stage break cautions. My name's Sean Stamm, producing, directing, commentating the show. We'll be right back with you up here in the booth in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back here, Stamm Studio Network. Hopefully you're all having a great night tonight, checking in on YouTube land. Wouldn't be anywhere else on a Saturday night. Oh, thank you so much, Laura. Got the checkered flag emojis and a little brewski emoji right there with you, Laura, says Terry. So what was a pretty eventful start here to this Stamm Studio Network Truck Series race. Already have them re-racked, restacked, and ready to go. This should warrant our stage break. If not, though, this could be a quick 1 to 2 lap shootout for that Frets for Pets stage break. The graphic will keep us updated in the top left of your screen this time by. Let us know. Don't be afraid to let me know who you're rooting on down there in YouTube land, or maybe we got to start voting on a paint scheme of the race or something here, because quite a few nice Stamm Studio Network truck paint schemes. Very vibrant one out there from Michael Ritz out there leading in his Cheaters Inc. Motorworks number 27. Vibrant red Carpies and Exalt Chevrolet Silverado. On that outside row, Chevrolet Silverado. It's the leukemia awareness. Liam Strong 09 fights for a leukemia-free tomorrow. Driver of Kyle Ricketts. We have strategies still ranging all over the racetrack, and I am going to say this could be a quick dash out there to the real Frets for Pets stage break, as still Michael Ritz and Kyle Ricketts have not found themselves onto pit lane. And that looks like that's exactly what's going to happen right now, as we've made their way on to take the green flag, and then the yellow flag's going to throw right there for the real Frets for Pets stage caution. So we already shouted them out there, but we're going to have to do it again. Thank you so much, Frets for Pets. I believe it's out of Mississippi, the nonprofit organization that put on some music events, as well as just try to rack up some monies out there and for the pets out there, for shelters, as well as just make sure you let them know Midwest Elite Racing sent you, because it's a pretty good cause out there for FFP as well as MER. Neil, if you are watching out there from the hospital, I know that you were, you're how do I say this? This is new to me here. Expecting a new one any moment now. I guess that's what I could say. Neil, hopefully everything's going there well for you if you are watching. If not, or catching the race replay back, we really appreciate you, and your hard work and effort does not go unnoticed out there behind the scenes. So apologize for that, though, but I was scared of it happening, and I think with kind of Neil not here tonight, this is, I mean, there are no race admins, right? There is no race control within Midwest Elite Racing, and so we will get one or two of these things happen out here, as well as Neil. He's got a little bit more more important things out here happening tonight, so don't go anywhere. It's just going to be a quick little 1 to 2 pace laps here for our Frets for Pets stage break. Here you're going to see a few takers on the pit lane. We'll take these takers and then meet with one of our sponsors and affiliates out there for a quick stage break. Kyle Ricketts leads him down there. Excuse me, Michael Ritz leads him down there coming in pit lane. There's Kyle Ricketts, Bobby Blair as well. Charlie Widener, Stoney Binfield, Josh Murphy, and Daniel Higgins looking to get some more damage repaired there. Remember, Bobby Blair, he was just down and in pit lane and barely won the race off with, I thought it was Mike Milfelt. Now it's two separate strategies. Bobby Blair, a quick splash and dash. Maybe he's just looking for a little bit more insurance coming towards these last the closing stage of the race. race, this 100-lap event here at Texas Motor Speedway. Charlie Widener, he's in as well as same strategy call for Stony Benfield. Quick splash and dash and ready to rock and roll. Mike Millfield, keep your eye on this. If we do keep running within green flag conditions, Mike Millfield could have a little bit less fuel than Bobby Blair. And Bobby Blair, he could have restarted up there in the front pack of the starting section of the race. So that leads me to believe that Bobby Blair, the driver of the number 66 Fanatec hot pink and purple Toyota Tundra, is playing the long run strategy and looking to possibly make his way down and into virtual victory lane. Well, we're side by side. We're ready to rock and or roll, and I hope you are too. Hopefully you got your drink and or snack in hand as, ladies and gentlemen, safety truck is down and into the safety of pit lane. Mike Millfield, Tim Blankenbeckler, that's who leads us going into turn one. 59 laps to go at the Ranger Creative Concepts 150 live on Stamm Studio Network. Mike, Tim, Zach Monday, 1, 2, 3. Craig Schmidt runs fourth as still some differing strategies are looking to make or break these drivers tonight. There's Daniel Higgins coming out of pit lane, trying to at least go from, keep himself from going at least more than one lap down. Craig Schmidt, Zach Monday, side by side, quarter to quarter in turn number 3. It'll be Craig Schmidt up there in that final driver interview position. Number 85 has that 175 for the time being. There comes our next closest battle. Stony Benfield, Frank Ranger Jr., 9th, 10th, 11th. There's Daniel Higgins. He gets back up to speed. Tyler Price joins him as well. Starting to look 3 wide. They might look 3, settling back down to 2. Sean Abel lets him by there in that number 40 red and white Chevrolet Silverado. Sean continues to drop a few as here comes Kyle and Josh Murphy starting to gain a few on this race restart. Frank Ranger Jr. also nice start to the race. Kyle Ricketts, where you going? Kyle serving a penalty under green flag, and so is Michael Ritz. Not what you want to see if you're a fan of the 09 or 27. Keeping things under green flag running, keeping things close battles. It's still James Klaus, Ricardo Keno, less than 1,000th of a second separating the two. Klaus is up the outside line of that yellow and black truck, but here comes another yellow and black one, Charlie Widener. Charlie looks down the inside of turns 3 and 4. Is he able to make it stick just as we have seen it done all night? 95, slicing, dicing, working his way up and into the front. He's going to have to deal with next driver up, though, Ricardo Keno out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. From short track racing, from modified racing, to road course racing, 2 mile and a half out here. Ricardo does it all. Super speedway racing as well. Showed up within that 5th running position after starting 4th. Ricardo Keno, nice run for the race, continuing to make it happen. We'll have to see if he's continuing to make it work up there throughout these last 54 laps of the race. 55% fuel, so we should, unless your name's Bobby Blair, who made that last that last pit stop before he went back going to green flag throughout the second half of the race. Bobby Blair has worked his way all the way now backing up to P9. I'm starting to wonder, even at 55% fuel, could he start to be saving enough as we almost look 3 wide? Sending it back down to 2. Still has James Klaus in the, I think that's supposed to be a Waffle House Chevrolet Silverado going at it there. Still now clear side by side, but Stony Benfield, that truck up there right up and in front of him. Not only Stony Benfield, quite a few drivers here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen up there up within 1st, 2nd, even 3rd racing positions. And then as these sort of differing strategy calls happen, as that Fresh for Pet stage break happens, as well as, I mean, it happens right there after one of our cautions. That's really, as I mentioned earlier on in the race, it's what you do under those cautions that will determine your whole race. And it sounds counterintuitive, right? But you have different options. Do you try to take a 2-tire pit stop? I would hope not. Do you try to take a 4-tire pit stop? That would be my call. Or do you try to risk things, live on the gambler's edge, and try to no-tire pit stop? Fastest pit stop available, but you're going to be begging. Your tires are going to be begging for mercy, as is grip. So that was that battle up there for pretty much 5th, 6th, 7th on back that we continue to look at there. Jumping back out here just briefly to the race lead. Mike Milfelt showing him how it's done, but not quite running away from that Tim's tiny boat. Tim Blankenbeckler, Toyota Tundra 1, 2, 3. Craig Schmidt runs 3rd. Zach Monday P4, Charlie Widener up to P5. Excuse me there, Ricardo Cano up to P6, as we still have those closest battles of the racetrack happening out there from about that 4th, 5th, and 6th on battle. Here comes Charlie Widener. We've continued to see Charlie not even work the, not only the inside, he's working that outside line right now. Will he be door to door? Well, what will the runs be out here off of corner exit? This is what you have to see right here. I mean, look at that, the outside line, even on the completely refigured surface. Charlie Widener off of the camera shot out there. That's how much speed and momentum he's able to carry running. I didn't even think that was possible, running the outside line through turns 1 and 2. Hopping on board with Ricardo Cano right behind Zach Monday. Zach out of Patriot Maverick 3. I think I've seen Patriot down there in my YouTube chat. Make sure you hit Patriot up there in Twitch chat as well. Zach Monday, he's trying to hold off Ricardo Cano up there for that 5th running position. Point standings are so tight right now, you can't fault each and one of these drivers for continuing to go at it inches, feet, meters apart, if you will. Ricardo Cano, will he try to make that switchback happen out of the exit? No, he's going to drift up the track at the turn number 4. Use that speed, use that momentum through the dog leg. There you go, Ricardo Cano. He'll get side by side, but no side draft happening. Continuing to leave, about a car width or 2. Ricardo Cano working that outside line. Look at it go. That's 2 laps in a row. First it was for Charlie Widener, now for Ricardo. Makes that pass happen over Zach Monday. Ricardo Cano now to P5. Nice work. Battles for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on your screen. Tim Blankenbeckler, Charlie Widener going door to door in turn number 1. There goes Charlie backing around the inside line this time by. Oh, he's going to drift a little bit. Easy, easy, easy. Here comes Tim up on the inside. Tim's now side by side, door to door. Also, no side drafting action out here between the two. Not sure if they're just trying to give each other a little bit more room between them, or I think, that's exactly what's going on. These are the Stamm Studio Network trucks out of Midwest Elite Racing. You see 2 drivers like this, of course you're going to see Charlie Widener and Tim Blankenbeckler giving each other the room and a half. Tim out there trying to make something happen on that inside line, but here comes Craig Schmidt joining this battle, drifting his way up the racetrack as well. 46 laps to go from Texas Motor Speedway. Mike Milfelt up front by 7/10 of a second. Charlie Widener backing into P2 by, 7/10 of a second. Still Tim Blankenbeckler trying to work that inside, but now starting to fall a little bit on that pace. Right now, maybe starting to play a little bit more defensive lines over that hard-charging Craig Schmidt. On board here with Tim Blankenbeckler, he drifts way up the hill, going up turns 1 and 2, off the throttle pedal by a mile. But once again, I'm still so surprised out here from this Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing that those drivers that have continued to run that outer, longer way around the racetrack with very, we'll call it little banking, not no banking, but Tim, he's able to somehow even getting on that throttle pedal a little bit later through the exit, pulls the gap there on that back straightaway. Let's see if we can get a little bit better camera shot at this time. Well, he does drift it out of turns 1 and 2. Here comes Craig Schmidt, right side of your screen. Let's see what happens through turns 3 and 4. Craig actually follows the line. Craig is going to try to get those right side tires up and on that seam that separates the bottom from the middle line out there on the racetrack. And doing so, Craig Schmidt's actually going to close that gap. Careful though, as you get closer and closer to that rear bumper of Tim Blankenbeckler, you're going to also be starting to fight for a little bit more cleaner air, a little bit more grip within that front end. This is battles for 6th, 7th, and 8th on your screen. Stony Benfield continues to sit about top 6 throughout the whole night. Right now trying to work his way up more through it. Zach Monday out there on that outside line of the PM3 Motorsports. PM3 turns out to has a nice move going into turn 3, trying to make it happen on turn 4, this time into 1 and 2. Zach Monday, that's kind of what I expected out there from that outside line. Exactly what you saw from Zach that time. He loses all that speed and momentum that he had gained out of 3 and 4 this time by. Oval racing, whether you like it or not, I love it. I don't know about you, but this is what it's all about right now. Is these not even right now, but throughout I think the season, it comes down to these cookie cutters, these mile and a halves. Not only from differing banking going into each corner, different corners, different strategy calls, but as I keep mentioning out there as well, those aerodynamic kind of discrepancies as you find yourself out here from 7th, 8th, and 9th on the track. You continue to feel that here within your whole Stamm Studio Network truck and your whole racing wheel. As you see, Ricardo Cano, that's exactly what I mentioned. Ricardo tried to slide up into that inside line up there underneath Craig Schmidt, or maybe just run the inside line. And you saw right up and in front of Stoney Binfield. I mean, it shot Ricardo Cano way up the racetrack. Not only does that shoot Ricardo way up the racetrack, but it completely, with lack of better words, it screws up his whole next lap, if not two, after he is begging to get that speed and momentum all backing into it. Ricardo, careful there. Here comes Stoney Binfield. Stoney's going to drift up the track, but they'll keep it off of each other. No final wrap traded. Stoney Binfield back in up to P5. How many times have we talked about Stoney? From the back to the front, back to the front again out here, up within P5. Stoney is now the meat of the sandwich as he has Craig Schmidt and Bobby Blair up and in front and right and in behind him. Bobby Blair, one of those drivers that we've continued to show the longer run speed, the longer run pace. Bobby now looks down into the inside. Does he have enough grip left within his truck to be able to make it stick? Or does he get into the inside of even Craig Schmidt? Possible a 2-for-1 situation on our hands right now. Bobby Blair, the inside line. Craig Schmidt up top. Here comes Bobby. Boy, Craig is way up there, man. He's given all the room. 4 wide for a brief moment going into turn 1. Settles it back down to 2 and 3 out of the exit. Here comes Stoney. Here comes Bobby. Going into turn 3, they'll run side by side. 38 laps to go at the Range of Creative Concepts 150. Here's Stoney. He's going to continue to really work those right side tires. Nice pass for Stoney. Doesn't have it done here just yet, as Bobby Blair is going to continue to work that outside. Bobby, oh no, he's going to start to drift up the racetrack. All these drivers putting some pretty significant wheel into these Stamm Studio Network trucks right now. They're not begging for grip, essentially at this point, but in about 20 to 25 laps, you best believe these drivers are going to say, what was I doing 20 laps ago? I wish I had just a little bit more Goodyear rubber there underneath me, as we continue side by side from lap on lap on lap. Man, here comes Stoney once more, and that call 811 before you dig shows 75 under your screen, but number 97 up within timing and scoring. My goodness, he is fighting for his right to party. Or is it really Bobby Blair who's fighting? Who's fighting? He's finally got it done. Clear, 66 up to P4. The almost final driver interview spot in the 66 hands. Final driver interview spot up right now would be Tim Blankenbeckler. And how about Tim? Let's hear it for him out there in YouTube land out of Sugar Grove, Virginia. He was hanging out there at around that Just Fishing Story sponsored a race there a couple races ago, and man, Tim, make sure you hit up his YouTube channel. Is all I got. If you're looking for a laugh, looking to feel better, just about anything, Tim's Tiny Boat Adventures there on YouTube is where you're going to be wanting to head, as well as make sure you let him know he sent you, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. Craig Schmidt, Zach Monday, Tyler Price, 7th, 8th, 9th position. Next closest battle on the racetrack, I believe it would be Josh Murphy and James Klaus. Whoa, hang on to it. I think that is James Klaus up there. I'm not too entirely sure. James, if you're watching, I did make sure to refresh Trading Paints, and I think something is corrupted with that Waffle House file, so we'll make sure that that's corrected and ready to go for next race time. But up and until then, this battle up and in front of James Klaus, really continues to heat up and ensue from Josh Murphy and Tyler Price. Battle for the race lead starts to heat up and ensue right now. Mike Milfelt and Charlie Widener. Looking at the last lap time history between the two, it's been cat and mouse, ladies and gents. Look at lap 63 through 65, slower for Widener, but then faster by the click of a mouse. Look at lap 67, 0.8 of a second gain. Here comes Mike Milfelt into the pits. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Mike Milfelt has smacked the wall. I might have to take that back, but I don't know if he just burnt his tires up there too soon on the Federated Auto Parts machine, but 155, that lap, what was it, 68, I think it said, fell 8 seconds back, lost almost a whole second on one lap by. Right side tires going up and into the air. So is Tim Blankenbeckler. He's in pit lane. Let's see if he takes a right side tire pit stop, or excuse me, a two tire pit stop or a 4-tire pit stop. Looks like the 155 of Mike Milfelt, that'll be a 4-tire pit stop, as will Tim Blankenbeckler, as does Stony Binfield. This is the worst time for me to be trying to look for a race replay, because I really wanted to see what happened out there to Mike Milfelt and why he lost a whole second at a lap. I wonder, maybe did he try to come down pit lane one lap too soon and then maybe missed his marks and got right back on the gas? It could be, I mean, I'm not even going to start to speculate. It could be a plethora of things, as now we see Bobby Blair, who cycled out to the race lead, makes his way down and then on to pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is money stop time right now, and we're going to do something special. We're going to go pit stop track action side. I'm going to make my way down and out of the booth, down on track side. I'll be here in just a second. Alrighty, I got Bobby Blair coming down here into my pit box. First pit box on the track, one of the best pit boxes of Texas Motor Speedway. Right side tires going up into the air for Bobby Blair. He's going to get 2 right side tires on him. Will he get 4 new Goodyear Racing Eagles? He will be 4 new tires, as well as filled up with Sunoco race fuel, enough to get Bobby Blair to the end of the race. He's just now waiting still. Oh my goodness, Bobby Blair, it's a long pit stop right now, continuing to lose so much more important pace, track position. Bobby, what's going on? Oh my God. Okay, well, we're getting back out here to the race lead as Zach Monday, Josh Murphy, and Tyler Price run 1, 2, 3. I almost wonder, does Bobby Blair have a does he have a penalty that he's serving? Because that number 66, one of our fastest trucks of the night, still on pit lane. Zach Monday is I believe, our last driver who has not stopped here just yet, as Josh Murphy and Tyler Price now make their way down into pit lane. Looks like Bobby Blair clears him out there on off of pit exit, but did have to serve that what almost seemed a 40-second penalty. Oh, that's not what you want to do if you're Josh Murphy. He goes there just an inch or 2 forward into his pit box, has to catch neutral, back and into reverse, and now the work can be done on the driver of the number 88. As things continue to cycle out right now, Mike Milfelt now makes his way across the stripe to put his way back and into the race lead. Charlie Widener and Stony Binfield run what should cycle out to run 1, 2, and 3. Zach Monday is just begging on a caution right now, as he has essentially put the whole field 1 lap down. Mike Milfelt, Charlie Widener, this is the battle for the race win. Here comes Charlie, he's knocking up top, but you gotta be careful with that outside line. Remember, we had seen that so many times before. You cannot grade like a cheese grater. You cannot grade those right side off of your machines within the opening laps of your stint. Hopping on board here with Charlie Widener, still sits at about 0.5 of a second back from Mike Milfelt. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Milfelt, the fastest driver within our practice session. No qualifying lap time set for the 155. My God, Charlie Widener dumps the clutch going into turn 1. You heard that engine run silent. Let's see if he does it again in turns 3. This is what will make or break your race win. These drivers playing with tenths of gallons of race fuel down there in pit lane. Charlie Widener saving fuel even within the closing laps of this race. That could make or break, not even your race win, but I think could make or break a championship win. Here we go, once again, turn 1. Charlie Widener dumping the clutch, engine turning 0 revs, and actually, matter of fact, while Charlie Widener continues to do that, continuing to close that gap onto our race leader. Zach Monday still is staying out after last pitting on lap number 38. That number 3 Chevrolet Silverado should be running out of fuel any lap time after still putting the whole field 1 lap down. On board here with Mike Milfelt, he is doing the exact same thing. dumping that clutch pedal down in turn one, or just reaching up and turning off the whole ignition. That's a pretty interesting call out there, and that strives really from, well, of course it strives from real life racing, but more, I think what it really strives from is the college iRacing series, as well as, whoa, Zach Monday, there goes his pit stop. Golly, that was tight going, I mean, talk about meat of the sandwich out there. Right in between that battle between our two front race leaders, makes the hard left down and onto pit lane from about 180 miles per hour down to 0. Back it up here between this battle of drivers continuing to dump the clutch pedal into turn one. It's not necessarily hurting the lap time necessarily too much, but it's, I mean, I say that, but right now, Milfeld, Charlie Widener, Tim Blankenbeckler, it's a 1-2-3-way, 4-way battle coming out of turn four. Four racing leading drivers, all separated by 0.2 of a second. Who do you have coming towards this closing stages of the race? Mike Milfeld back to the race lead, but here comes Stoney Binfield. Stoney wraps the outside line and makes it work by a mile. My God, he shoots out of Gannet on turn number 2. Here comes Mike Milfeld on back, though. Is he close enough to make something happen back into turn number 3? Nope, Mike's going to have to lift a little bit more, a little bit earlier up there. We heard and saw these drivers, these race-leading drivers, dumping the clutch going into turn one. You got to imagine that that's telling these drivers and their competitors that they are tight on race fuel. I'm curious if we hop on board with Tim Blankenbeckler into turn one next time by, if he's running a strategy call like that, or if Tim maybe put enough race fuel into it, and if he's got enough to get it back down and across the stripe on that checkered flag lap. Let's hop on board with Tim Blankenbeckler here, running P2. Let's see if he dumps the clutch into turn one, or if he's going to hang up there right up with Stoney. No, he's going to give a lift of a century into turn one, not necessarily dumping that clutch pedal, but lifts as Stoney took away the line into the entrance of the corner. Now Stoney runs away with that little bit more gap gained on the exit. 0.3 of a second now separate third and fourth. Now that Mike Milfeld and Charlie Widener have fallen back into that third and fourth position, I almost wonder, did they not put enough race fuel in it out there on the stop? Obviously, these drivers have those black boxes available to them. They know by the rough margin of the laps if they're going to be able to make it to the end of the race on the current fuel strategy that they're on, if they're lifting, if they're saving. But they continue to save even more fuel right now, losing more and more speed and pace up there to our race leaders right now of Stoney Binfield and Tim Blankenbeckler. Only 19 laps to go from this Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing live on Stamm Studio Network. 2/2 of a second back. All the way up and then to P9. Put one lap down. Well, yeah, up to P9. So you got Stoney Binfield, Tim Blankenbeckler, Charlie Widener, 1, 2, 3. Mike Milfeld, P4. Mike still sitting the biggest driver on, well, how do I say this? Most positions gained, there you go. Most positions gained for the 155, up to P4 after leading quite a few laps here earlier on in the race, but is he possibly still trying to save a little bit of fuel or used his tires too earlier on in the run? After leading 38 laps, now Charlie Widener on by the 155. Charlie goes up into that final driver interview position. Some more side-by-side battles out there happening between it'll be James Klaus and Tyler Price for 7th and 8th position. They're separated by about 0.5 as their battles continue to rage onwards lap after lap after lap. Back out here to the race lead, Binfield, Blankenbeckler going at it. Here comes Tim, dives it down to the entrance of turn one. He'll have to short away around the racetrack, but he's going to bleed more speed and momentum off of corner exit. Actually, Stoney Binfield almost makes contact with the outside wall, but keeps his foot planted onto the gas. Stoney, what could have lost himself the race lead out there, continues to hold it off over Tim. What could have been a mistake actually benefiting Stoney Binfield. Here comes Tim Blankenbeckler, though. The last pit stop strategy call throughout our top runners of the pack. Binfield, Blankenbeckler, same exact pit stop strategy, pitting on lap 68. 69 is Charlie Widener, but sits about 4.20 seconds back. So right now, it is all between 1 and 2. How much tires have you saved? Is it enough to do what they say can't be done? Tim Blankenbeckler, I think, has shown the longer run speed throughout this battle, throughout these two drivers, but we have seen Stony Binfield more specifically running up there within the front of the pack. Here comes Stony, leading some more laps on tonight after coming into the race. Stony Binfield 6th within our point standings, leading 13 laps tonight. He has been to our top 3 victory lane positions quite a few times before. I think he's looking for our 3rd one of his Stamm Studio Network Truck Series career. Stony Binfield, it could be even more special tonight, visiting virtual victory lane, or could it be Tim Blankenbeckler and his Tim's Tiny Boat Adventures Toyota Tundra? 0.2 of a second still separating P1, P2, 13 laps ago. They have about that 5-second gap over P3. Last lap time history, 5 laps that we're looking at. It's only been lap number 84 that Tim Blankenbeckler has been there just a little bit faster, but Tim says, let me do the talking right now into turns 3 and 4. He looks to go side by side, looks to get to that right rear quarter panel. Tim Blankenbeckler, ladies and gentlemen, he was there, not close enough to make it work. Is he close enough to make something happen this time going into 1 and 2? Look at Stony Binfield almost starting to play with Tim on the corner entrance out there, trying to take away his line, trying to take away that air. Tim Blankenbeckler, he's going to get another shot on that back straightaway. This changes everything. Caution on the racetrack. Coming up with just about 10 laps to go. Kyle Ricketts involved in the 0-9. He's getting it back down and onto the unbanked portion of the racetrack. TJ Zachary, his 3rd incident point, how do I say this? The 3rd bit of contact, whether it's been, I mean, pretty much none of them I don't think has been TJ's fault here thus far. That is his 3rd incident that he has been in tonight. That front end of that Animal Racing number 33 Chevrolet Silverado looks to be pretty dented up. Here's a look at it. Oh, is it under cycles out there? Is that, I mean, it looked like TJ was already underneath the apron. I heard an engine blow here, so I think this might warrant here. Yeah, no, that's definitely not under cycles. Let's just see what happens. That's a little bit easier. Okay, let's just see what happens. That's a little bit easier. Oh man, TJ, he does end up. Is it self-spin or not? And then there you see Kyle Ricketts also in it. Let's take another look at it. Apologies here, trying to search for this thing because I guess it would be a little bit faster just to do it this way, and then we'll get back with you here for the pit stops here for what I thought were money stops earlier on. Well, this is now our money stop action. Here's TJ, hang on to it there. He's already underneath the apron, and oh man, okay. Definitely looks a little weird, we'll call it, but Stony Binfield, Charlie Widener, Tim Blankenbeckler all into the pits. Craig Schmidt, Josh Murphy, James Klaus, Tyler Price. That's the top 9 all down in pit lane. Frank Ranger Jr. actually opts to stay out, or at least to get a wave around. Bobby Blair and Zach Monday opting to stay out as well. There's the race off of pit lane. Stony Binfield, Craig Schmidt, Charlie Widener. That will be 4th, 5th, and 6th. Josh Murphy 7th, Tyler Price be 8th. Apologize here, but I just want to. Oh, that was on board here with Kyle. I would like to hop on board with TJ. Is it just starting to slow down? Yeah. I mean, he's on that edge of the apron there. That's a tough spot to be for sure. Oh! Let's do one more. Sorry, I'm just curious. We saw and heard him slowing down, so it could just be TJ trying to get down and into the pits. But I mean, it being right on the line, and then the fact that it sounded like went right back and into flooring it. Well, we have one more shot to look at it here. Take one more. And normally a driver does lock it down at this time. Of course, the right side tires go right outside of the camera view. Here you go. Well, no, okay, he gets on the gas there to try to keep it down at below. That's just, man, you got to hate it. You got to hate it for TJ in that number 33. That's a blown engine, it looks like, for him. All right, back out here and out up front. We're side by side. We've only had 5 cautions out here tonight from Texas Motor Speedway. Thank you all for joining in on Stamm Studio Network. Sean Stamm producing, directing, commentating the show. And it's a little bit differing strategies out here out and up front. Frank Ranger Jr. sponsoring tonight's race. Ranger Creative Concepts 150 presented by Animal Racing. Frank Ranger Jr. leading us down there, coming to the green flag this time by with what should be 7 laps to go. Frank Ranger Jr. is on 24 lap old tires. So keep your eye on that on this race restart as well. Frank Ranger Jr. field will be in your hands. Tim Blankenbeckler P2, Stoney Binfield up to P3. He's been, P4. He's been pretty dangerous here tonight with as much speed and pace as he has had. Keep your eye on the number 75, lime green, called the 811 before you dig, Ford F-150. It's Frank Ranger Jr., nice restart there, doesn't spin the tires. He gets this field back and moving up into turn number 1. Frank Ranger Jr. still leads him out there off turn number 2, but here comes new tires. Here comes Stoney Binfield down around the inside. 3 wide going into turn number 3. That's the 95 of Charlie Widener up top. There goes Frank Ranger Jr. He goes down into the middle and has a whole rear view full of Mike Milfelt. Mike Milfelt's now going to work his way up in that 3rd running position as Charlie Widener and Stoney Binfield go at it for the race lead. 3 wide, we'll settle it back down to 2, or will it continue to run? 3, no, back down to 2 we go. Oh, Tyler, hang on to it. Tyler starts the spin, but he saves it in his Caterpillar number 69 Chevrolet Silverado. Nice save for Tyler Price as we'll keep things under green flag conditions. Back out front, Charlie Widener, Stoney Binfield, Josh Murphy run 1, 2, 3 with 7 laps to go. Mike Milfelt, remember with how fast as he has been this whole night, that 155 is still looking for some spots to be gained. Craig Schmidt and James Klaus start to work their way up and into the 5th and 6th running positions. No battles out there for the race lead heating up, as closest battles are actually between Bobby Blair, Frank Ranger Jr., as well as Zach Monday. We'll start to look 2 wide going into turns 3. Hang on to them, boys, side by side. Unfortunately for Tim Blankenbeckler, not the race restart that he was looking for. It drops back to P8. Here comes Ricardo Cano down the inside, as well as now Tyler Price making that, Tyler Price still runs P9 as well, who has company of the number 3 of Zach Monday down around the inside. This time only 5 laps to go. It's still Charlie Widener. It's still Stoney Binfield out up front. Charlie up to the race lead, and that Appalachian Mountaineers number 95 Toyota Tundra passing Stoney Binfield. Can he continue to hold him off with only 4 more laps to go? That Cook's Tree Services call 811 before you dig has continued to show the long run pace. Charlie Widener shows the short run pace. This time 4 laps to go at the stripe in the Ranger Creative Concepts 150. Who has it? Stoney Binfield closing that gap, this time 0.2 of a second back on the Texas Motor Speedway back straightaway, definitely long enough. He's using a little bit of slipstream, using a little bit of draft, and then there you see in turns 3 and 4, keeping his throttle pedal pinned to the floor, but also getting even more clean air up and into the front nose of his Ford F-150 NAS truck machine. This time 3 to go at the stripe. Charlie Widener holds them all off with 0.2 of a second on that race lead, but this time Charlie Widener drifts way up the track at a turn number 2. Here comes Stoney Binfield. That's going to warrant a run and a half, closing the gap down within 1/10 of a second. This time it's 2 laps to go, 3 miles at Texas Motor Speedway in the Stamm Studio Network Truck Series race. Here comes Stoney Binfield, closes the gap to once more. Here's 2 at the go at the line. He's gonna look down the inside, not quite close enough to make something happen. Charlie Widener back to 0.2 of a second. Can he make that gap stick, or is Stoney Binfield close enough to make 1 more shot at something happen out here for this race win? Real quick, Bobby Blair, Josh Murphy, Mike Milfelt, all separated by less than 0.2 of a second. Craig Schmidt and James Klaus joining that battle as well. This time coming to the 2 the white flag lap to go, the 1 lap to go mark. Barney waves it loud and proud. Charlie Widener leads him going into 1 for the final time tonight. Stony Benfield, he's actually lost a little bit of that gap to the race lead. Here comes Stony. 1 more run down the back straightaway. Does he have anything left within his virtual fuel tank? 75 going to try to dive it down the inside, but Charlie Widener by 3 truck lengths is clear in the half. Charlie Widener conquers Texas Motor Speedway as his own, winning the Ranger Creative Concepts 150. Stony Benfield 1/10 of a second back at the line. Here comes Bobby Blair, wins the final driver interview spot in front of Josh Murphy at the line by 1/10 of a second. Mike Milfeld, he'll finish out P5. Craig Schmidt, P6. James Klaus, Tyler Price, Tim Blankenbeckler, and Zach Monday rounding out the top 10. What a win out there for Charlie Widener. Stick out there with us on Stamm Studio Network. We'll get with those official race results as well as those top 3 driver interviews. Congratulations, Charlie Widener, conquering Texas Motor Speedway. Burn it down, down, down. Well-deserved win for the number 95. Charlie Widener to the chip and a half. Congratulations on the race win. We'll get here with those unofficial official race results and top 3 driver interviews in just a few moments' time. Man, oh man, what a race it was. It was, I believe that said 8 laps led for the driver who comes into the race with the overall point standings. Here's the unofficial official race results brought to you by Ranger Creative Concepts. Charlie Widener, Stony Benfield, Bobby Blair, 1, 2, 3. Nice finish up there for Bobby. It'll be Josh Murphy, Mike Milfield, Craig Schmidt, the top 6. James Klaus, Tyler Price, Tim Blankenbeckler, Zach Monday, the top 10. Ricardo Cano, Daniel Higgins, Sean Abel, Frank Ranger Jr., Michael Ritz, Kyle Ricketts, Terry Mellum, Zach Monday rounding out the top 18. As I make my way down and magically into a virtual driver interview booth, I'm going to start out there with Charlie Widener. Charles, this is Sean up here in the booth. You got yourself a copy, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Charlie, goodness gracious, man. What an eventful field race out there for you in that Mountaineers number 95 Toyota Tundra. You get it done out here tonight. You visited us down here at Victory Lane. What was going through your mind on those strategy calls as well as the closing laps of the race? You had Stoney reeling you in.
Yeah, apparently there was a setup issue, and I think the Chevrolets had more fuel than the rest of us. Really trying to do some fuel saving there on one of those runs, and yeah, I would have. And the thing is, I would have made it. I had saved enough to barely make it before that last caution came out, but it was definitely a relief to not have to worry about stretching it. But yeah, Stoney really he was making me sweat there at the end. I was having to take his air from him and all kinds of things to keep him back there. But yeah, it overall ended up being a pretty fun race. And the fuel strategy probably didn't have that big of a impact, or the fuel issue, since one of the trucks with the less fuel ended up winning. So cautions landed just right to make it to where it wasn't that big of a deal, I guess.
Very well said, Charlie, there. And man, put us through, kind of take us underneath the helmets out there. Coming within these last, we'll call it 5 laps in the race, you continue to see Stoney grow ever so larger within your rearview mirror. You talked about the little kind of details that you can do to take away the air, take away some grip out there, but how do you stay composed mentally as you know a fast as hell driver is continuing to close that gap?
Yeah, unfortunately, when you see one coming like that, it makes you look in the rearview mirror more than you should.
Oh, yeah.
But doing so helped you figure out what line he was in to keep the air back. But it all started with that last restart. I got lucky enough that we split the leader. Stoney split the leader 3 wide, and I was able to keep the momentum up and get in front of them. That way, whoever got in front was probably going to control that, and I got lucky enough to get in front, so I could start taking some air away from them, defend pretty good. But Yeah, I was having to really adjust how I was getting into 1 and 2. This last, I think the next to last lap, I actually gapped him a little bit to give me some breathing room. So, but he caught back up on the last lap though. But yeah, I'm just glad I got up front, controlled the race, and this is a good group of guys to race with, and I'm just glad I was able to stay out of trouble and get it done.
Hey, well said, Charlie. Once again, congrats on your win out here tonight. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or dedicate this win to before we let you get going?
Yeah, my teammates, Mike Milfelt, he was on a similar strategy as me, but he had 1 set less tires. He took some in the beginning to try to win the stage. Heath Smith, he was here in spirit, because he got in some trouble and suspended a week. But everyone involved in keeping this league going, and you for putting on a really great broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch it. And yeah, just glad everyone in here is good sports and good drivers, and we can get along and race good.
That's really well said there, Charlie. And I appreciate the kind words out there. And again, it couldn't be done without you guys putting on a show out there week after week. So appreciate you as well, Charlie. And hope you have a great rest of your night. And hope I'm chatting with you there next week in our top 3 driver interview booth, man.
All right. See you.
Have a great night, Charlie. I'm going to cut it down there to P2, Stony Binfield. Stony, you got yourself a copy, man.
No Stony there, Sean.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you,
no
Bobby. That's a great segue into your P3 finish out here. I guess you do have a copy. Bobby, our pole sitter. How about you? Man, that's 66. You were on rails out here tonight, man.
Yeah, only raced this track like once before, I think, in the ARCA, but definitely tricky. A lot of different lanes, and overall a pretty good race. And I kind of got screwed at the beginning of it because I took tires, I took fuel, trying to save to the stage, and got caught up in a wreck, and then I went a lap down. So I was trying to play a little catch up, and it worked out in the end, so I'll take it.
That's what I love about this. I mean, not only is the stage break kind of a little bit offsetting as well, but the fuel runs, and it can make for some pretty eventful strategy calls out there, Bobby. Nice run for you. You'll finish P3. Is there anybody you'd like to kind of shout out or thank out there with this P3 finish, man?
Definitely thank the league, obviously. I know we had a little hiccup with the fuel thing tonight, but we made it work. Everyone ran a pretty clean race. Feel bad for TJ and Frank. I know they had some troubles tonight, but we'll get them next week.
Well said out there, Bobby. Hopefully I'm chatting with you out there next week's time. I think I saw I glanced at the Discord chat just earlier on real quick, and I think were you looking for some drivers out there for what, Sebring, you said?
Something. Just an endurance event would be cool to run. I've been getting on the GT3s a little bit more and just trying to get a little more experience all around, so.
Hey, right on, Bobby. We see you up there with almost 3,000 oval I rating, and that's pretty cool. You're dipping your toes into a little bit more, even some endurance racing stuff. If anybody looking for some endurance racing teammates, especially up here for Sebring, make sure Bobby Blair is the man that direction you want to head. Bobby, we appreciate you here so much. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we get closing off here tonight, man?
Well, thanks always to a good stream. Hats off for another podium, and hopefully we'll get them next week.
All right, well said, man. Thank you so much, Bobby. Like I mentioned earlier, couldn't be doing out here tonight with those without the sponsors and affiliates, as well as you guys for putting on a show week after week after week. So thank you so much, Bobby. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And as I mentioned before, hopefully we're chatting with you next week's time.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Hey, thank you, Bobby. Have a great rest of your night, man. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to about do it out here tonight on Stamm Studio Network. It's Sean Stamm producing, directing, commentating the show. One last look at our unofficial, official race results on tonight. Congratulations, Charlie Widener on the race win. Stony Binfield, Bobby Blair, 2 and 3. Josh Murphy, 4. Mike Milfelt, 5th. Craig Schmidt, James Klaus, Tyler Price, Tim Blankenbeckler, and Zach Monday rounding at the top 10 of the PM3 Motorsports. Ricardo Cano, Daniel Higgins, Sean Abel, Frank Ranger Jr., Michael Ritz, Kyle Ricketts, Terry Mellum, and T.J. Zachary. That's going to do it out here tonight. And if you haven't caught enough or you're just enough of me, I'll be live Tuesday nights for the Bump and Run Cup Series at Phoenix Raceway. Thank you all so much. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's Sean Stamm here on Stamm Studio Network. I'll catch you all next time. Thanks, everybody.